soaked in folds of midnight water, side by side, we sons and daughters. We set forth for no king's orders, but we'll sail together.
Well, so let's take it back to Charleston there for a second. The Bloody Bones was still in Charleston at this time whenever they were captured and stuff. And word had gotten back that they were both captured, and Wilcox, he had been departed from the ship, but he like somehow wiggled his way back in, just sort of kind of. He wasn't an official member anymore, but he was there. Um he basically told the men that they're cowards if they don't go after their captain. He's alive, and they can't call a new captain until they know for sure that their captain is dead. So it was just assumption made. So he was like, "Well, let's go to Pennsylvania." So they went to Pennsylvania. They showed up as well, and since Wilcox was the one that was departed from the ship and nobody really cared about him, he was sent inland to find out some information about where they would find him, or find him and Butcher and Betsy. He was staking, not really staking out a tavern, but he was kind of just, in a tavern where a bunch of redcoats had came around just to have like a drink and stuff. And he kept hearing them talk about a wedding that was going to happen, and Repton Island, all these words that he's never heard before, and he wanted to know a little more about it. So he waited it out until a gentleman had gotten up and went outside to go to the bathroom to relieve himself. Um, so he got the information he needed out of that man, but he had to get his suit from him as well, his little red coat suit from him. So he killed that man, and he used this disguise to get on Repton Island so he wouldn't be suspected so quickly, because pirates were so quickly to be spotted. So he had to make himself look like he wasn't one. So he found Betsy, and he had asked her if she knew anything about Butcher, and she had told him that they had taken him away, and she had no idea where he was, but he was somewhere on this island. And Repton had taken her ring from her while she slept, and he returned that ring to Butcher along with official separation papers from the magistrate. So basically told him that Betsy would be happy with him more than he was with her, and that this was it for him. And so not Betsy, it was actually Wilcox that put the idea in her mind. So he had told her that the slaves that Butcher always he never needed slaves. If he needed them, he would make use of them. But that's only if he had use for them. So he had, basically told people that slaves are useful only if you need them. So he put the idea in her mind that they could use the slaves to get Butcher back, and she took it upon herself, and she did. She wrote up hundreds of freedom papers, and she took them down to the slave houses in the dead of night, told them that they would be all free men and women if they fought with her, and they agreed. You know, she's over here flashing freedom papers at them. Of course, they're going to agree. So,
And
and
this
then
started leading towards
she,
the wedding, of which Butcher was almost crucified. He had this huge piece of wood attached to his arms so that his arms was held out at either side. And then they dragged him, which damaged the front of his body. They dragged him all the way down to the main estate, uh, where they propped him up on a chair to make him watch this wedding, and they had gallows set up so that her wedding gift would be watching this man hang, right?
yep, yeah. But before the wedding, there was a crucial detail that had been um, basically given. Um, before they headed back from the slave houses, Betsy, she passed this like strange looking building that she felt like something was drawing her toward it. So she entered it, which Wilcox was basically telling her was just a butcher house. And, well, yeah, it was a butcher house, huh? So they went down there and they found Butcher, where she had told him that she had a plan, that she was going to get him down and that he just needed to trust her. And she also discovered that she had fallen pregnant, and she told Butcher about it. It was his, obviously. I mean, there's, apart from the guys that just raped her about
Right.
three days ago. Um, it was Butcher's. It had already taken, the seed had already planted. It was there. It was his. There's no doubt. But yeah, then there was the wedding.
And
The wedding.
the wedding was another hard spot mentally for Butcher to handle because not only did he have to watch this, he had to listen to her agree to it. But then Betsy's plan came to fruition, and she had a whole thing planned out. Tell us about that.
Very well, yeah. She basically had to take her vows. She had to take her vows because she signed the freedom papers with Betsy Repton name on it. So those papers wouldn't be valid unless she took the Repton name. So so she had to take those vows to Repton. So all that happened. But so she had her fit, her little nice little London's finest dress that was given to her that she had to wear, and she took it upon herself to have like a bouquet made, but there was a dagger inside this bouquet, and then on her thighs were also some daggers that she carries with her all the time. She didn't have no boots on; she had heels on, so she had to put them somewhere, and so whenever it came down to it, she flipped the bouquet over and then she jabbed it right underneath Repton's breast, where it went upward into his heart. There, I'm pretty sure she hit the heart. That man died immediately. So she was smiling too while she did it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she was pretty sadistic about the whole thing.
She didn't even say anything to him apart from the taking the vows, and from there she commanded that all of Butcher's men and the slaves just go crazy, and they did. They sprung out of the cotton fields and started attacking and killing all the redcoats. Um, some of the party guests even got slain through this because they were trying to get away. So everybody just died just about. Um, and then
And she had this ideal exit plan set up for Butcher where they helped him off the stage. They immediately ran during the middle of the battle to get him back to the ship. He's practically dead at this point. I think the only thing that was keeping him alive was just sheer willpower. I mean, anybody else, I think, would have died given the extent of its damage. And we forgot to mention that her dad had made a visit during this time and did the ultimate torture, which by all research is worse than just about anything, where he threw a torch at Butcher's leg because he had taken a mallet to his knee and his leg could no longer move. And her father had thrown a torch down at his foot to start burning him alive. Uh,
that was
just showing just how cruel he really was. And to my understanding, burning is one of the worst tortures that is possible. So it was pretty bad, and it was Oliver of all people that ended up coming up and stopping him from burning to death. But he was just so gone at this point. He had convinced them that the Bloody Bones didn't exist, that it was destroyed, and that he was going to steal the HMS Becca and give it to Betsy as a wedding gift so that they would stop torturing him, which worked. Um, and then, her father shows up and he's prim and proper and doesn't really do the whole torture thing. So he just kind of came in there and talked about how disappointed he was and how you know, unimpressed he was with Butcher and how much money he spent to capture him and retrieve his daughter, and then threw this torch down at his feet and walked out of the building, listening to the tortured screams of Butcher echo out through the building. And during the attack, one of the first people they just gutted completely was Oliver, which I didn't think was going to happen right away. But yeah, that was one of the first guys that dropped.
He got shot.
Yep.
Wilcox shot him as soon as he landed up on that platform. He drew his pistol and just boom, took him right out. And then, of course, Gibbs and Hoda were also behind him as well.
And then they get Butcher back to the ship. Betsy's
It was Wilcox and Gibbs to get
right.
him back, because Betsy had specifically requested that Wilcox take Butcher back to the ship.